The time is going to come, and it could come a lot sooner than people realize, when very few people are going to want to take the dollar. Now, it's not going to die, it's not going to go away, but it could absolutely hyperinflate. And I see these giant danger signs. We've got a minefield that we've got to walk through in the next 5 weeks.
Guys, welcome back to Capital Cosm. I'm Danny, and I have Bob Moriarty with me this time around. Bob, thank you so much for coming on.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Danny.
Yeah, and I can't think of a better guest to have on right now, considering the breaking news that we're seeing right now in the form of Israel getting attacked by Iran, or Iran sending out their retaliatory strike to Israel on Tel Aviv. Let's just dive right into it, Bob. What is front and center for you right now? What do you make of this attack? Is this more of a save of face for Iran, much like it was in April, or is there something different about this strike?
I absolutely believe it's different. Israel, in its arrogance, believes they can do anything. They can ignore all international law and get away with it. And there are actually American pilots dropping bombs on Lebanon today. Okay. And there are American.
Is in a milk carton.
Okay. Hillary Clinton's face belongs on every milk carton in the United States. She's the one who created the whole Russian collusion hoax. And that's a one-string banjo that she continues to play. It was illegal. The FBI was in on it. The CIA was in on it. 51 intelligence professionals said that the Hunter Biden laptop looked like Russian disinformation. That was all treason. And our government knew it. And they're still playing that one-string banjo. And Hillary Clinton's coming out and saying, if people come out with disinformation, we should consider that a criminal act. And I'm thinking, my God, here is the queen of disinformation. Shove her picture up on every milk carton.
Why do you think they're making this big pitch right now to curtail free speech? It appears that it's all coordinated between Kerry and Clinton, and you hear this as well over in the UK. There seems to be a coordinated effort. There, like as if there was an agenda to shut down free speech. Why now?
No issue there. Well, here's the problem. You and me and all of the people who are coming out with reasonable opinions, the government can't stand that. I mean, they shoved Julian Assange in jail for many years for telling the truth. And he was a journalist, okay? They have threatened Scott Ritter. They took his passport away. Okay, because they wanted to shut him up. They're trying to go after Elon Musk. Okay, they're working with Brazil. They're trying to attack Elon Musk. And frankly, is there an agenda? Damn straight there's an agenda. And they're trying to shut everybody up. And the World Economic Forum, which is an evil organization, if there ever was one, wants to turn everybody into slaves. 2030. You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. And that is exactly the definition of slavery. And John Kerry goes out, and who's he speak in front of? The World Economic Forum. We need to shut everybody up. What's this nonsense of people speaking out and telling the truth? We got to stop that.
Yeah, people forget Build Back Better was a World Economic Forum slogan. And it wasn't a Biden slogan. It didn't derive itself from the United States. It came from the World Economic Forum. That's why you saw politicians in the UK, Canada, Australia, they all use that same platform from the World Economic Forum. As my hero Ron Paul would say, we don't have free speech here just so we can talk about the weather. We have free speech for reasons so we can discuss and criticize our government.
Exactly.
And that's the fundamental right. What do you see in terms of the gold price in the medium to long term? And why that's important is obviously because as the system continues to spiral downward, it's been largely propped up by this the global reserve fiat currency status that has through the dollar. All of these wars are financed through other countries because there's this undying demand for dollars from the rest of the globe, which enables the hegemon to print up as many dollars as they need to send over and bomb other countries and all of this type of thing. So with the gold price rising up, does this pose a threat to the existing hegemon?
Strange enough, you raised a good issue, and everybody hates me when I do this, but I'm going to ask you an interesting question everybody should be able to answer. Define money in one sentence.
Money is concentrated value.
No.
Exchange value that is exchangeable.
No.
What is it?
Money is anything that two people agree on to conduct trade. It can be big round rocks. It can be pieces of plastic. It can be shells. Okay. It can be wampum. It can be cattle. It can be wives. Okay. And frankly, I would have paid a lot of money to get rid of one of those. But, and it can be fiat. It can be pieces of paper. Gold is only money because it's the best form of money. But right now, my definition, I think the highest value of gold is as an insurance policy. And certainly, and this is interesting, as soon as one person says, that's not money, then it stops being money. Okay. If you go to Yap, okay, and say, can you give me change for one of those big round rocks? They can look at you and say, look, it's a big round rock. No, it's money. Now, it used to be money. It's not money anymore because nobody wants to take it. The time is going to come, and it could come a lot sooner than people realize, when very few people are going to want to take the dollar. Now, it's not going to die. It's not going to go away, but it could absolutely hyperinflate. And I see these giant danger signs. We've got a minefield that we've got to walk through in the next 5 weeks.
Hey guys, quick pause. If you're enjoying this content and this channel as a whole, but want to take the experience up a notch, then consider joining Capital Cosm Club here on Substack. You get access to exclusive portions of my interviews that you won't find on YouTube. You'll have the opportunity to ask my upcoming guests a question. You'll also get the chance to recommend me guests. You'll get a chance to DM me. My DMs are open on Substack for paying members only. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. And we also do market write-ups. And with that said, I'll let you get back to the video. Thanks, guys. Do you anticipate any sell? Are you a seller of gold at this price? Has it run too far, too fast? And also, this is a question from one of my Substack members. His name is Awakening TV too. He wants to know what is the criteria that you use to actually sell, not just gold or silver, but just any investment in this kind of space.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try to think of a good analogy. The time to sell gold and silver will be when everybody wants it. And the one thing that's absolutely true right now is there's a lot of people selling gold and silver who have been holding it for years, okay, including the ETFs and including retail buyers, because they're saying, no, there's going to be a correction. I think we've got a 10-year or 15-year bull market. I think it's just barely starting. I read something by Peter Schiff today, and he's saying gold could go from $260 an ounce, which it was in 1999, to 26,000 if it duplicated what it did from 1971 through today. The ETFs have actually been selling gold. They are not buying on the way up. And every indication in terms of sentiment says we're nowhere near a top.
I see. And I guess the same thing would apply to silver, right? Silver is even more undervalued than gold.
Silver is the deal of a lifetime. Silver and platinum are so cheap, it's ridiculous. And silver is always the last one to the party. But there, I see nothing in terms of sentiment that says we're anywhere near a top.
I see. What do you make of what do you make of these all of these trends that are kind of not necessarily trends, but current lines that are kind of intersecting at the exact same time, right? You made mention of the strike going on, the union strike going on the southeast and the eastern coast. You made mention of the Iranian strike on Israel, the destruction of the towns in the Appalachia due to the hurricane last week. All these seemingly have profound impact, and don't for people who may not know, that hurricane destroyed 100 to 150 billion dollars worth of property last
It
week.
is the most expensive natural disaster in world history.
Yeah, it's like you would have
I
dropped a
mean,
nuke in Appalachia. That's what it was like.
absolutely. And it's going to be years for them to recover because there's so much damage. And we're so close to either a revolution or to a civil war. There have been some really scary revelations lately to Congress talking about 13,000 convicted murderers have been released into the United States. Okay, now to the extent that I'm glad that some people have paid a price for their crimes, but why are we importing murderers? Okay, that's bizarre. And I think the number was 30,000 convicted rapists. Every country in Central and South America has emptied their prisons, sent them to the United States, and the United States has 400 million guns. So all these idiots have guns. And they're in Appalachia, and they're in Western North Carolina, and they're shooting people up and they're stealing. That could go out of control so quick. You cannot bring in 13 million illegal immigrants who have no intention whatsoever of adopting the rules and regulations of the United States. Okay, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard, and it's crystal clear. The Democrats brought them in to be voters, and they believe they're going to vote Democrat. But the only U.S. candidate that was ever more despised than Harris was Hillary Clinton.
I see. Is there a way to unwind this? Is there a way to undo the damage, or has the damage already been done in large
I
part?
think the damage has already been done. I
It's
think
it's a
that,
it's a bureaucratic nightmare to have to remigrate or deport a lot of these people that have come through, right? Like it's not an easy
well,
task. It's easy
not
for them to
just,
come in, but to deport them, that's going to take a lot of manpower, and it's going to get messy.
yes. And strange enough, you've got the DOJ and you've got the FBI and the CIA. And the head guys in those three organizations know they're going to get no if Trump gets elected. So
Mm,
I think there's a really excellent chance something will happen. They'll cancel the election, and we'll be in the same situation as Ukraine, where we do not have a legal president.
I see. What do you recommend to people to, if this actually happens? What should people kind of do to prep?
Food, fuel, and ammo.
Nothing else.
Well, some cash would be handy.
Yeah. Is this something that's going to be purely concentrated in the United States, or do you see this spreading to other places as well?
That's really hard to say. Uh, Ukraine is coming unglued, and NATO and the EU have bet on the success of Ukraine. And I don't see any leadership in Europe saying, by the way, we screwed up. We should have never declared war on Russia in the first place. And we need to apologize. We need to start all over. They're still talking this nonsense. Russia invaded Ukraine. No, 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 no. The United States invaded Ukraine in 2014, and we had a coup d'etat, and Victoria Nuland spent $5 billion of American taxpayer money to overthrow the democratically elected government of the country. It has been an illegal country ever since. The amount of corruption there, it was the most corrupt country in the world, and we knew it was the most corrupt country in the world. And frankly, the United States stands to gain nothing, and the EU stands to gain nothing. They declared war on their neighbor that they were buying cheap resources from. Now, I don't think you can get any dumber than that. And everybody in Europe saying, oh, well, we don't know who blew up Nord Stream. Well, fuck, I know who blew it up. It was the United States. And that was a $30 billion act of terrorism, the biggest act of terrorism in world history. And everybody said, no, we don't know who blew it up. Yeah, I mean, Biden said he was going to blow it up. And yeah, Victoria Nuland said she was going to stop it. But, maybe they were lying. They weren't lying. They did blow it up. Of course they blew it up. And I can prove to you through facts and logic, it was the American military who did it. How many pipes were there?
What do you mean?
There were two pipelines, Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2.
Right.
How many pipes were there?
2.
4.
Really?
Each Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 had 2 pipes.
I see.
There were 4 pipes total.
Okay.
How many of them got blown up?
I don't know. How many? 2?
3.
3.
Okay. Only the United States military, under the incompetent leadership that they have today, could conduct the biggest act of terrorism in world history and screw it up.
That's your biggest telltale sign, right?
Well, it's absolute proof. You can take that, write it on a piece of paper, take it to the bank, and cash it.
Speaking of Ukraine, did you see that meeting with Trump and Zelensky a couple of days ago?
I did, and Zelensky was looking a little nervous.
Yeah, you could tell the body language was off. He kind of resigned himself that the money spigot is probably going to get turned off if Trump wins.
Well, strange enough, the money spigots get turned off right now, no matter who wins. The United States threw some chump change at him, but the gravy train is over.
Really? You think so?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, it's been a total waste of time. Anybody who thinks Ukraine is winning now is brain dead.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're turning off the money? They've invested so much money into this thing.
Well, they didn't invest it; they burned it.
Yeah, they put so much money into this thing. What's why
Well,
are they turning it off now? It seems like all the Democrats are still behind it.
Who owns all the land in Ukraine?
BlackRock,
And Vanguard.
Vanguard.
Okay, this is like the United Fruit Company. Okay, we're in Ukraine to protect the interests of Vanguard and BlackRock. We're not there because we give a shit about freedom. I mean, we're actually honoring Nazis. Okay, Canada dragged some guy into their parliament. Okay, and gave him a standing ovation, and nobody ever asked the question. Wait a minute, if this guy was fighting the Russians during World War II, doesn't that mean he's a Nazi? And of course, the guy was a Nazi. He was part of the SS.
Yeah, I remember that. There's it is very strange how everything's connected.
Well, strange enough, and that's a good question. And if you think it's bad now, it's going to coalesce in the next 5 weeks. The one thing I will flat guarantee, and I hate the word guarantee, and I have never used the word guarantee in an article I've written, but I will guarantee we're going to have more chaos in the next 5 weeks. We're going to have things nobody can even imagine today.
And look, I mean, even if we do have an election, you still have about 2 months to the inauguration day, right?
Yeah,
So even if you do
yeah,
have an election, you have a foreseeable winner, you still have to make it to inauguration day. I mean, that's the key date, actually.
not really. Okay, because it is in the best interest of the Democrats and the CIA and the FBI and the DOJ that there not be an election. Okay, we'll do the same thing Ukraine did. Okay, well, we got a president. What do we need another president for? And the really funny thing is the question I'd like to ask people when I do an interview: who's running the United States? And everybody says, "Oh, I don't know," and we don't know.
I think either Biden or someone who works closely with Biden spilled the beans on an interview last week, and they said that they were asked essentially the same question that you posed: if Biden is not fit to run for president, is he fit to govern the United States? And they answered by saying, well, we have a team. We have a very reliable team behind President Biden.
No, it should.
That's taking care of everything. So, I mean, there
I
you
don't.
go. It's not the bureaucracy is in charge, essentially.
How many votes did they get? I don't even remember.
Oh,
Who's on the team?
Yeah. Certainly weren't on the ballot.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what they said. I mean, they pretty much admitted to a deep state, if you will, which is just another word for bureaucratic state.
Yeah, it's one of those duh.
But yeah, I mean, I pretty much expect the same thing. If Kamala wins, she's not going to be making any really big decisions. It's mainly going to be the same people that run Biden's camp, is my estimation. Is that what you think as well?
She is the perfect candidate for the Democrats because she's a total airhead. I mean, truly, she is a stupid woman. Listening to her is about as much fun as watching a cat crawl up chalkboard.
But she's not. The thing with Kamala is that she's not hateable, though. Like Hillary is very hateable, very dislikable. Kamala just kind of like, yeah, she's just not smart. She's just
you feel sorry for Kamala, but when she opens her mouth, okay, she took the lowest margin business and most competitive business in the United States, which is the food business, the grocery business, and said the prices are too high because they're gouging consumers. And it's something like 0.6% profit for food stores. Right. It is so easy to go out of business in a food store. It's crazy. And what we need is price controls. And as soon as somebody talks price controls, very few people realize this. What happened on August 15th of 1971?
We went off the gold standard, right?
No. That was part of it. Nixon goes on television, and because inflation was totally out of control, it had gone from 2% up to 3%. Nixon put on wage and price controls. The whole speech was not about gold. It was about wage and price controls. And then he pulled the same trick that Steve Jobs used to pull. At the very end of the presentation of Steve Jobs, and say, oh, one more thing. Okay, we've got this really wonderful thing called an iPhone. And that's how Steve Jobs introduced everything. And Nixon did the same thing. He said, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to have wage and price controls. Inflation's totally out of control. One more thing. Gold's no longer convertible temporarily.
Well, Bob, it's been a pleasure having you on. Where can people find you?
321gold.com and 321energy.com. And I'm doing like 5 or 10 interviews a month. And there's some really good information. And I'll give you a compliment. The government has made it crystal clear that they're going to lie about everything and they are going to fight us. And this is something that was predicted in the fourth turning, where the government is trying to turn into a totalitarian dictatorship. And what everybody's forgotten about the fourth turning, which did in fact predict the chaos phase, the crisis phase, which we're in now, but it also said there would be shoots, okay, of people who want independence and people who want freedom. So what we're doing is fighting a battle of sorts. And luckily, we've got Hillary Clinton, we've got John Kerry, we've got the head of the DOJ, we've got the head of the FBI, who are making it crystal clear that they are traitors to the United States, and we need change. And the change is going to be brutal, and it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be bloody.
Well, hopefully, this is what history tells us. But maybe a miracle will happen this time around. We'll see. I'm not counting on it though.
I'm not big on miracles. Okay. Napoleon said he would rather have his generals be lucky than good, and I'm not sure that's a good bet.
No, I don't think so either. But hey, that's what it is. All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed this content, remember to give us a like and subscribe to the channel to get more content like this on your feed. Also, check out our Substack for the full uncensored video of this interview. You don't want to miss it. It gets really spicy. And then finally, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.
How many meals are we away from chaos?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Nashville.
It can happen so quickly, and nobody's prepared for this. I've been talking for months saying if you don't go down to the store, if you don't buy 6 months' food and shove it in your garage, you're being stupid.